Next up we have Julie Morrissy, who was shortlisted for the Melita Human Poetry Prize. She was selected for the Poetry Ireland Introduction Series. Her debut poetry pamphlet, I Am Where, is published by Iware Publishing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's really nice to be here, so thanks for having me. I'm reading from my pamphlet, I Am Where, and I'm going to start with the opening poem from that pamphlet. Looped. There is a twist that creeps around me that drags me back to the North Strand, where I have never been before, to a park called St. Anne's, a saint I never saw before, a branch, a tongue, a child I never had before. We rehearse for the loop, the Easter rising hero who keeps being decapitated by the locals. The council replaces the bust each time, regifting dignity to this statue, only to find a swastika on his neck a week later, his head dumped at his feet. The touch is real, though the sun tricks me. In my childhood bedroom, everything leads back to Bull Island and the North Strand. I've moved a lot between Ireland and North America, and a lot of the pamphlet reflects on that experience, and apparently my preoccupation with Bull Island as well. This is Steel Skin. The wind stirs the sand at Bull Island, sending it scattering like snakes in all directions. Winter blooms in Dublin, unfolds into a chilly whisper, prompts me to throw on a scarf or whatever. It's about time to see the cold, not puffs of breath released to the atmosphere, to the city, but time to see the spread of deadness. Transatlantic air directs feelings per season. October to December equals regret, austerity, discipline. It is a time to sit up straighter, to breathe carefully, a time to remember that you cannot forget, because the frozen air remains always in lungs, lying quietly at the base, a film coating organs. In winter, it evaporates into your system, travels to the tips of fingernails, to the corners of eyeballs, to that little triangle of muscle in your ear. It comes with strict instructions, a way of being. The Mississippi freezes over every year, probably worse now than then, probably harder, probably thicker. The Mississippi freezes over every year. The air from the 10-minute walk across the Washington Street Bridge, from East Bank to West Bank, from comfort to law, a morning mission in ski jackets through a sheltered tunnel, encased in thin panes of glass. Some tiny piece of air must have slipped in between the wrought iron bars. It must have crept through the cilia in my throat, down, down into my iron truss lungs. I'm just going to read one more. I spent some time out in Carrow a couple of summers ago, so out in the west of Ireland, and we were down on the beach there, kind of literally standing on the edge of Ireland when you're down there, and we found a dead seal that inevitably made its way into a poem. This is 2014. It had been washed up onto the shore, against the broken rock face, behind the seaweed slime and bits of bucket, rope, and dirt. The skin on its bottom half peeled back, pecked off maybe, showcasing the dull pink pallor of this sea beast. Half undressed organs lay threatening underneath, boiling in the midday sun, layers of blubber holding it all inside. But when we stood and from 4 feet away, threw a stone onto its belly. The thud was heard from the seashore into the depths of Scrib and beyond. The holy well rippled, sea salt reverberated, the Virgin Mary's hand twitched. A natural urge after the 3-decade-long pins and needles. The sound flew up the knitted hills we had skipped over, into the cracks under our feet, through the keyholes in granite. Those tiny spaces still large enough for it to slink through. The stone, medium-sized, light grey, speckled, unremarkable really, remained flat on the middle of the washed-up body. 2 pieces of evidence: victim and interference, interference and victim, half covered, a real mess. In a few days the stench will pierce the wet air, unbearable. The locals will cover their mouths and noses, tourists will turn back to rental cars. Until the nearest flat cap pushes the offending body back. No small effort, mind. He gathers the other men. They stand to contemplate the best course of action, staring at this rotting, full corpse, this gentle hazard, at the edge of the roll of the tide, nodding their wrinkled chins in agreement, heads slightly scratched, eyebrows almost furrowed. Big, big men. Thank you.